All right, welcome to the Lockdown Podcast. There is a lot happening in WWE, and we will try to break it down the best we possibly can. So, like, we finally get the Wyatt Six. I mean, I honestly think I would give it honestly a solid A for how it happened. So, what are your guys' thoughts on us finally getting the Wyatt Six?
I don't know what's her name came out for the door, man. She reminded me that's the way she walked out reminded me of the freaking movie The Grudge. That's
Oh
all
my
I
god.
got from it. But it was good. I love it. I love the way they did it. I love the way Triple H was letting him had do it. And it was a great tribute to freaking Bray Wyatt. I fucking love it. I gave it a straight A.
What do you got?
No.
Uh, two
What do you have
thumbs
to
up, I
cough when you're
guess.
holding it? Or do you have to cough when you're
Yeah,
holding it in? You're doing sign language now?
yep. Um, I just never got into it. However, if we're looking at it, like you just said, Tim, it's a tribute to Bray Wyatt. The visuals looked very engaging, interesting. Uh, they got across the story that they wanted to tell. So, yeah, I everyone
So,
is raving about it. So let's get them into a program. Let's see how this translates. Um, I want to see the performers in the ring telling stories and what is the outcome. We're starting to become really faction heavy in WWE, and that's fine, but there's got to be an outcome that really makes it worth the investment. But right now, for me, it's, let's just see how they perform in ring and what their in ring stories are, and going from there.
I mean, I think we're en route to basically have a broken up Alpha Academy. So, I mean, I feel like maybe we're getting rid of one and adding another, but yeah, it is it's just heavy with factions, and I'm okay with that. It's just, how do you define them as dominant when there's so many? It is very oversaturated with factions talking about their dominance, and I just, I want to see one stand out more than the other, and I think honestly that's going to be the Wyatt Six. But like how they reel them into storylines and matches, like okay, now we're here, but now what do we do? Where do you put me? And I think that's the real looming question is okay, yes, we've gotten the tribute, we've gotten them here. Now what do we do? So, um, so what we've seen on Raw, I mean, I don't think anybody expected, but Seth Rollins returning, um, looking like a knockoff Godfather, but
More of a
if any,
knockoff to Tony Montana.
or yeah, Tony Matassa. If anyone can pull it off, I think Seth Rollins can pull it off. Like, I don't think there's an outfit that they could throw on him, and it wouldn't be very Seth Rollins,
Hey! This outfit I actually like. He actually looks more like a man. The other outfits, he looked more like he's borrowing clothes from his wife.
right? Well, I mean, and he kind of came back. He cleaned up the beard a little bit. I mean, hair's still what it is, but like,
Yeah, when he left, he shaved it, and then
yeah,
he's slowly letting it grow back.
I'm just like, I was just blown away how they just poof, here he is, and there's a title shot. Now,
Rematch clause.
I mean, essentially, but I mean
Pretty
they,
much that's the way it is.
but thing is, but they're so loose about the whole. They were saying long time ago, a long time ago that like they were done with rematch clauses, and yet that still seems to be the status quo. With how things go. Um, Now with Seth coming back, do you think Damien was a placeholder for Seth to come back? because Seth played the face.
My opinion, I think so, but Seth should. I think Damian Priest deserves that title, and Seth pulled that title for a pretty good long time. He's holding on his shoulders. He hold the company on his shoulders for a certain amount of time with it. Now it's time for Damian Priest to actually shine and show what he can bring to the table for that title.
So putting over Seth, I mean, or basically beating Seth would basically have him reach another milestone because
Right.
come on, dude.
Pretty
Seth,
much.
Seth's been running this game for 10 plus years, and he's been at the forefront. I think putting over, letting Seth basically take the L, Damian Priest only solidifies Damian as a champion. So now we'll kind of roll. So this whole Alpha Academy, Chad Gable's a dick, like whole stuff. We've finally seen Otis at least stand up for himself. He pushed him, but I don't know if that, they did say in back, like, hey, we're done. But are they done? Because honestly, the sad thing is that Otis, Maxine, and Tozawa really have nothing for them without Alpha Academy. But
I could see them being a new Maximum Male Models. And hear me out.
Is Tozawa a short king?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I want to see Tozawa pose like Mansoor. I want to see.
Oh my god!
You know what? Bring them both back.
I'm gonna Photoshop.
Yeah, they are over in. They're going to AEW.
Man, I'm gonna Photoshop Tozawa.
That's what I was reading.
Well, if they do go, they could be a nice comedy act.
They are funny.
Hey, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed them. They were a funny ass tag team.
There's nothing wrong with that. They're both, they're both good in the ring, good enough to put over people. They can be in ROH. They can be, wherever. They can be journeymen. I just don't want to see them go away.
Right. They still have a place. It's just they have to basically be some type of gimmick in a storyline to basically stay around. And that's the thing is, I don't think Tozawa really cares. Tozawa, honestly, he was in cruiserweight division, the 205 live stuff for the longest time. He was on NXT for a while, so I don't doubt Tozawa can wrestle and still perform. I just
He could. WWE just needs to do something with him. He's not that bad of a wrestler, but they're just making him look like a fucking joke. That, or they should just get rid of him.
Yeah, it's tough.
Otis, he can handle this shit on his own. That dude's a big dude.
I think Otis on his own, would be interesting because you have big guys on their own right now. You have your Bronson Reed, who's, been in title pictures on more than one occasion. I think Otis, I think honestly or what if Otis and Bronson Reed tag up, dude?
Ooh, that'd be great. I'm all for it.
This is this is obviously pontification and pipe dreams, but could you imagine it basically be, what were their tag team? What was Tucker and Otis's tag team called? Heavy Machinery.
Yep.
He'd just be called Heavy.
Yeah.
Or Beefy.
You got the freaking worm and the tsunami, dude. Otis does the worm, puts the shoulder down. Bronson Reed comes over with the tsunami. What a great freaking finisher.
Yeah.
But
I don't know how they would go over currently with Bronson Reed being more of
he's
serious.
A very heel.
Yeah, and a serious heel as opposed to a comedy heel. I do think we could have some more tag team based stories and programs.
I mean, do you think it's just that we just need regular, just 2-person tags, not 1,000 factions?
That, I mean, but what is the difference? At what point is there a difference?
That is true. Well, I
You
mean,
know?
well, but you don't play the numbers advantage like Judgment Day and Bloodline and all that. So like, if you just have straight up tag teams, it would be decent. But I mean, it seems like the tag teams on Raw and SmackDown currently are really not doing much. I mean, like Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, they talk, haven't really put much prestige to the titles. R-Truth and The Miz have kind of done a couple matches, but I feel like there's just nothing serious from a storyline aspect for either of them. Like they're not have we have Money in the Bank coming up, so now we're investing our time in the Money in the Bank matches, and all the qualifiers and everything else. Like, you know, like what do you do like for the tag division wise, right? Because I mean, you have your championships that are both, have their storylines. You have your secondary titles with storylines. You have your Sammy, Logan Paul. Don't even get me started. I won't rant.
Right.
But like he's doing nothing. He's literally more of a paper champion than Damian Priest was out the gate. Like Logan Paul is just a draw. They keep on putting him in title matches. They're putting him in Money in the Bank, a qualifier next week. And it's like, just like, I understand that you want the eyes on the product, but have him do something defending his freaking title. There's, I mean, Sami Zayn has been defending his stuff left and right, and you have Logan Paul that hasn't done anything since, I don't even know. Like,
Saudi Arabia show.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
pretty much.
and so like they're doing nothing. They're literally pissing away opportunities and talent and good wrestling matches. Because he's out doing Tetris tournaments. Like, what the hell?
So I'll just go back to, this is probably booking. This is probably what it takes to make someone either a heel or a face. This is part of the WWE cookbook, like we have called. There's
It is what it
nothing
is.
interesting going on with that title, the US title, or with either the tag team titles that are wanting me to be engaged, but it could just be the season. Once we like figure out with the current things that we have going on, stories that we have going on, we can settle into those.
But I mean, SummerSlam's coming up. I mean, like, there needs to be some development of something going into SummerSlam. Like, most of those, I think honestly, every title needs to be defended at SummerSlam. Every one of them.
It should.
Yeah.
And I'm sick of them putting in matches that are literally glorified main events on Raw or SmackDown and putting them in a PLE, and then they're putting the championship matches on Raw or SmackDown, which should be on a PLE. Because when you have title matches at PLEs, everybody's got a new level of strength and more kickouts and all that stuff, and there's more pizzazz to it. I don't want to just see a basic match that means jack squat.
And plus a lot of those titles you see, they defend them on Raw or SmackDown. For a fact they rarely ever fucking switch hands. They switch hands more on freaking pay-per-views or PLE.
There's more build to a story with a match at a PLE because there's weak build to it, and then when you have it, it's explosive. But now we're just having them one-offs on freaking Raw or SmackDown, and it's very disappointing from a fan's perspective. Like, okay, like you said, they're not going to change hands, like, or there's going to be outside interference. Like, it's just too predictable. There's no like what if could happen. Like, it just, in a lot of these matches, especially with these factions, are just so cliche after a while, and it's a little bit like, oh, this should happen again. Well, and it's just
That's how I feel.
So now we'll roll into so we're into Money in the Bank here in the next couple weeks. And so you have Io Sky winning a triple threat, which I'm not buying. I mean, the sad thing is out of these three, Kiana James, Zelina Vega, and Io Sky, obviously I would choose Io Sky because Kiana is new. Zelina, I'm not buying as a serious competitor. And it's not that she's not a good wrestler or anything like that, but she just doesn't have it. Like there's the women that get shots for titles and such like that or Money in the Bank. They're like those top 50% of the women, and the other ones are just kind of jobbers. And that's
Pretty
it's
much.
unfortunate. It's unfortunate because the roster is pretty stacked if you give opportunities. But so there's Money in the Bank. So let's break down Mr. Braun Breaker on the piss off every bit of management in WWE, and I'm freaking loving it. I think Braun Breaker is literally hitting his stride of being badass Braun Breaker.
Totally 100% agree.
Uh,
No, somebody's not
Oh.
going to disagree.
You watch the product that we're talking about? I'm just playing.
You damn party pooper.
He's like, and well, now we're down to 2.
And-
Hi Tim, how are you?
yeah. So
No.
there's something missing about Braun Breaker being engaging to me. But that's not to say that he's not athletic and he doesn't do his job. It's just that
I mean, so they're gonna
Yeah.
put him essentially probably at Money in the Bank. There's probably gonna be a triple threat between Braun Breaker, Sheamus, and Sami Zayn, and that's
Oh, yeah.
just So as much as I like Sami Zayn and I like the run of Braun Breaker, I want Sheamus to finally be a Grand Slam champion.
right.
He
He
deserves it.
deserves it.
I mean, his matches are bangers, dude. Like, you gotta give respect where respect is due. He puts on amazing matches. And so
He can be out of shape that he is, but he still puts on great matches.
Yeah, I think
banger
he's
after banger,
yeah.
Banger after banger.
Yep.
So I think
Yeah.
putting the title on him finally gets him over that hump.
Yeah. I think it's Sheamus IC title, Braun Breaker somehow getting the US championship, and then Braun versus Xavier Woods.
Wait, are we going down the pipe dream?
I think for
Perfect.
me, I think that is what that seems to be a bit more interesting to me. Braun
Okay.
Breaker with a championship, Xavier Woods next in line for a singles run.
I'd be for that, honestly. I feel like, Xavier's been a tag team dude for the better part of his career. I feel like
He's the
Even
only one out of New Day hasn't had the WWE championship.
I mean, they were
Yeah.
both short runs, but they had him nonetheless. But I feel like just giving him something for the singles, even if it's on his way out, or where he goes down the line of popular whatever wrestlers and all that. Like, I think giving him at least a singles, any singles title, I feel
Yeah.
like would just because I don't, he's not the guy to be a WWE champion. It's that's not going to happen.
I mean,
Biggie, and
yeah.
it's,
I think he could in the right situation, but with what we have right now in front of him, it is a tall task to build him up.
oh,
If
100%.
if something went on where the majority of the roster that is being pushed was injured or gone or something like that, it's more believable with him moving up into that role. But right now, I think mid-card belts are going to be his best immediate future of being a singles champion. But obviously they're going to want to put something on Braun Breaker sooner than later, just to pull the trigger on that. Then you've got LA Knight, you've got
Yeah, that's the thing, man. It's like
yeah,
there's
so many others,
much
yeah.
there's so much potential in the secondary title picture right now that I just really want to see someone just let loose. Like I want, because because there's so much popularity. I mean, like, okay, so obviously Jey Uso won money, his Money in the Bank qualifier, whatever. But like, I mean, that was a shoo-in, that was a given. Now, I mean, obviously we barely have a field of Money in the Bank right now. But like,
Right.
do you really think, honestly, that Jey would be the odds-on favorite?
To win Money in the Bank?
Yeah.
We can always look up what his odds are.
Yeah, I mean, so what about Drew McIntyre, quote unquote, quitting on Monday Night Raw? Obviously, no one was buying it. But it was very, very believable. If you were an average fan and you really didn't dive into too much stuff, if you seen how he said, "I quit, I'm done with it, screw this company," like you'd have been like, "That's pretty," like, wow, just like that. But much like most things in WWE, not everybody quits, right?
Well,
AJ didn't do it, Mark Henry didn't do it, like no
I know
one really.
one person who did.
Yeah. Come on, let it rip. Come on, Tim, let it rip.
CM Punk quit because for certain fucking reasons.
Because he's a quitter.
They're treating him like shit,
Still
and
quit.
He's still a
still
quitter,
quit.
man. How many
quit.
people have ran through bad gimmicks and still continue to do the company? Come on, look at the Miz. How many different things has the Miz been? How many different things has been so many different wrestlers? Quitters quit, man. And I'm not him. The only emotion I feel for him right now is I'm just annoyed. And
Not me.
I want to pop the top. Come on, Tim. Come on, Tim. Give it to me. CM Punk me. Come on.
CM Punk is still going to be the best in the world at what he does.
Yeah, quitting.
All
And
right,
Drew can knock him on his ass, beat the shit out of him, blah blah this. You're just waking up the wrong side of CM Punk.
What, the old side? Come on, Tim. Rant me up, man. I'll buy you a
CM Punk is still going to be the best.
I mean,
nobody's going to change my mind on it. I'm always going to be a fan of him no matter what.
I mean, he's probably in the little company store at Mount Rushmore, but I don't think he's making the top. He's a novelty item.
He's not at my mouthwash. He's not on my mountain.
I don't think it's.
I got my certain people.
But like, okay, but do you really think, like when he gets into a legit match, let's say SummerSlam, right? Let's call it. Do you really think they're gonna have a 25-minute match? Do you think he can go 25 minutes?
Yes.
Frederick, what do you think?
So he can go 25 minutes, but he's not showing back up for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
We'll see.
Which is fine if that's the way booking wants to go. I don't think there's no way that a Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk story needs 25 minutes plus. Give me 15 minutes for that type of in-ring work. Yes, I am not a fan of CM Punk. I completely acknowledge that he has this massive draw, especially in Chicago. There needs to be closure on this. The match that I do want to see is Rollins versus Punk. I do want to see that WrestleMania.
I mean, we
Do I
want
wanna
because
see
we
it?
didn't get it, but we didn't get it before, so we definitely want to get it eventually.
Yeah, I do want to see a really good program. This this it's really hard to call which way this is going to go when you're thinking about it from like a logical storyline. Does CM Punk need a comeuppance for his interferences in Drew McIntyre's matches?
Oh, dude,
Yeah. Do I
hell of a receipt, hell of a receipt.
yeah.
Hell, he's gonna get
So
like 4.
yeah, so I would I be surprised if CM Punk won this? No, I wouldn't be. I would be disappointed if he did, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised. It's either A, to drag out this story with CM Punk and Drew McIntyre to give Seth Rollins more time to get ready, to get that, going, or they're just going with that direction. I don't think CM Punk should be in a title picture. I don't think CM Punk will be the face of the company. I think CM Punk should be treated as a special attraction, used sparingly, and treated as a part-timer. Yeah.
I want to see. I want to see him have a title run.
I mean,
You
I
know-
think
I want him to have that moment at WrestleMania that he's been wanting.
I mean, but would
Only
you
if
want-
he immediately retires.
Hell no.
I mean, think if you keep saying, okay, so I'm gonna be devil's advocate here, okay? Like, what you want and what's gonna happen are the complete opposite. He's a novelty item. I don't like feel like he's a good person on the mic, no doubt, one of the best. But do I think at the age of whatever he is that
I think he's 43.
and like that's like 50 in wrestling years. So like I'm really not if he comes out as a champion, it's kind of like I don't know.
I think Triple H will do it.
I'm not quite buying it in the sense of like, okay, so we all love Cody Rhodes. Now, how he holds that title is amateur hour. He holds it like a suitcase. He doesn't unbuckle it. He doesn't put it over his shoulder like a true champ. It was all about the story, and now that he's champion, I'm really not too thrilled at how he carries himself.
I totally agree because he does hold that title like it's a suitcase, and he doesn't unstrap it. You have to look at it like this too. Roman Reigns kind of did the same fucking thing. He handed it over to Paul Heyman to hold, but other than that, he should carry it, hold it on. At least he does come out with it around his waist like a champion.
I think the whole
he needs to hold it like a regular champion does.
The whole physical holding of a championship, I think, is a personality trait. And we can split hairs about how it should be held. But I don't want to see CM Punk as a champion. And that's my personal that is my opinion based upon the antics I've seen of CM Punk over the last few years. And I'm not really that much of a fan of CM Punk. What I would love to see happen is I would love to see a John Cena versus CM Punk program. John Cena retires and CM Punk does too. And they both ride off into Brokeback Mountain's sunset. And they just live happily ever after as afterthoughts. CM Punk was born in 78, so he's 45. So I
just want to see John Cena get the 17th title. I like because I
it is a rumor.
Because I just feel like it just needs to happen. Someone new needs to sit on top. And Randy Orton's probably never gonna. He might get up to like 15 or 16 maybe. Triple H is obviously done wrestling, so like there's very few left on that, those, 14 championship, you know, level. So like, I mean, then again, would it be unthought of to maybe Randy Orton like ties it all? And maybe they just, I don't know. I mean, Randy said he wants to go till he freaking falls off.
Is Randy Orton like 13 or 14?
He has 14.
That's what I thought.
Because Randy and Triple H both have 14. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's all like we can think and we can pontificate and we can wonder what could be, but obviously it just comes down to honestly, what does Triple H want to do? Because it's
Yeah.
his ship. He's the captain. What
But he's
what we
also
want.
he's also listening to a lot of people, listening
Yeah.
to
Oh yeah,
fans
way more
in
than
some
way more than
way.
Vinnie Mac. Way more than
Yeah.
Vinnie Mac.
So
He's listening to the fans, and plus he's listening to his workers too, getting
Yeah,
their
I
side.
think he's he's definitely, been a lot more forthcoming and a
Right.
lot more approachable,
yeah.
because he's been in the business for what, 30 years practically. I mean, like,
Somewhere's around there.
and
Well,
so, he's a master of the game, pun intended. And, I think if anybody's gonna basically hit that next level, it's gonna be Triple H, 100%. And I think, given honestly like how the Bray Wyatt tribute, with all that went down, like that's Triple H saying, "Hey, you guys, here's the idea. Here's Bray Wyatt's ideas. Fucking run it, right?"
Yep.
And I think
Let's see what the
that
payoff
that
is.
that
Yep.
that creative freedom is definitely, very welcomed by Triple H, and I have an immense amount of respect because he's done it for so long. You know what works. You know, you can coach a team all you want, but if you've never played the game, you don't know how to coach. So, it's I think, the Paul Levesque era is definitely in full mode, and you know we'll definitely see, especially going into like Money in the Bank, like what are they gonna do? Um, Carmelo Hayes, he qualified, with a stupid roll up, but like, and so, now we're having this new blood from NXT coming in, and there's gonna be a Carmelo Hayes, Randy Orton thing just in the works. He is smacking him around so much that like Randy's eventually just gonna like blow up
I
because
think I
they
I
had the
think
one match where he like slapped him in the back of the head, and now he pins him for the Money in the Bank qualifier match. Like that is something brewing in the cookbook, 100%.
they've got to find ways to put smaller guys over. Um, they give Carmelo Hayes an edge and a bit of arrogance, and I think it'll work. Just with the psychology behind it. But getting back to this whole CM Punk having a title, where the program should go, I think there needs to be some definite I don't know. I keep saying like, or I keep thinking like CM Punk needs to pay his dues for how he left WWE.
Bunch of receipts.
And I yeah, I just, and with my own personal feelings about how CM Punk has been over the last few years, where he's been, in AEW's, putting him in a spotlight and giving him a push to me is insulting for people that want to watch the entire industry, both the entertainment side and the back of the house stuff, the business side, and creative and all these other things. You want to know all the, you want to be familiar with everything. So
Well, and he doesn't need a title to be relevant either. Like,
he
I mean,
does not, and he
you
also
know,
doesn't need wins to be relevant.
yeah.
But at the same time, you've got these long contract performers who will probably be there after CM Punk leaves again,
It's
and
just
know,
there's a new generation. There's a new
yeah,
generation rolling in, and
yeah,
and we can't we can't we can't live, as much as the nostalgia of it. We can't live in the nostalgia, because in WWE and any wrestling promotion, like, eventually the old ones will be done and we'll be left with a bunch of new blood. There is an exuberant amount of potential and talent in NXT right now. Like, I
yeah,
mean, you have Trick Williams, you have, you know, you have Lexus King, aka, Brian Pillman Jr. You have an exuberant amount of talent, that's coming up. You have the group of No Quarter Catch Crew. You have, uh, well, I mean, the Creed Brothers already came up, so, like, there's
yeah. We're not
it's
doing anything with them either.
yeah, and that's very troublesome, because when you finally get to the main roster, because when they were in NXT, they were stars, they were studs, and it's tough, because when a lot of these wrestlers stay longer than normal, you know, you start to get a certain degree of oversaturation, and people getting lost in the shuffle. I mean, that's kind of what happened to Karrion Kross, and I think right now, what the group, the Final Testament, I think that's a great faction. It's just, we have a lot of factions. We're over factioned. Like, I mean, like you said, whether it's a tag team or a faction, same difference, right? So it's what do you do with it? I mean, we have a bunch of tag teams that will all of a sudden just kind of branch off into singles for a hot second, and we know it's not really that relevant for them to be a singles, because they still have a tag team, you know. And so,
So with that being said, with all this new blood coming in and how it would play for like the returning veterans like an Orton or Punk or Drew McIntyre who re-signed, for Tim, my question is for Tim, what do you envision for CM Punk up until WrestleMania season? Like from now until WrestleMania season, what would be your ideal creative situation for him?
Me personally, do a lot of solo single matches. I think he deserves to earn a lot of his title matches, like the rest of everybody, and not get handed it to him. Yes, because of who he is and what he's done in the past and what he's had helped paved to the newer future. Because Triple H did say some of the stuff he's wanted back then is actually happening now under Triple H. He did help push for some of that. But I don't think he deserves anything handed to him, no matter who he is. I think he needs to earn it like everybody else. Start from the bottom and work his way up. The whole thing with him and Drew, perfect. That's going to help him, push both of them to better themselves and better themselves to go for either whatever title they want to go for. Me personally, yes, I would like to see CM Punk go for the world title, but not right now. I want to wait to at least give him maybe a year or maybe 2 years into the company before he gets that chance. I could see him either go for a tag team belt or maybe the Intercontinental belt.
but who would he
Something
tag
small.
with? Who would he tag with, though? That's the real question.
True.
Who would want to tag with him?
I mean,
Like-
and that's the thing is who's similar on the same.
All right. Well, there's one person. There's one person.
I mean, but like that's the thing is like who else has that bravado like CM Punk has a similar move set, a similar kind of cockiness, and honestly, the one person that comes to mind is the Miz. Because
I
our
think-
truth, our truth can kind of fizzle, and that's he can be the gimmick. But like honestly, the Miz and CM Punk both have incredible mic skills.
Oh, definitely.
So like what would you call it? I don't know.
I'm gonna say this, and it's not gonna be a shocker. Kofi Kingston.
He has tag teamed with him before in the
Yes, he
past, and they
has.
both held the titles
Yes.
together.
So
Oof.
yep.
Opening the
that's-
vault on that one.
Yes,
Opening the
that's-
vault.
that I would be into that program. I know CM Punk would be the heel in that turn.
Definitely.
But Kofi,
Yeah.
as
It wasn't. They
Kofi as a
were a
heel,
good
though.
tag team.
Yeah.
But
so
what does Kofi Kingston look like as a heel if he went heel?
I would love to see it.
Like I mean
Um,
like because like he's such a nice guy. Like
He had.
if I were to make Kofi Kingston heel, it would be along the same lines as you taking a villain in a movie who is 100% right in their villainous actions. So like, for example, Heat. We didn't want to see Robert De Niro die in Heat because we believed in Robert De Niro's character and his meanings and the reasons why he did the jobs he did.
so
We
so
were
there's
all
kind of
team-
Well, we have seen Kofi Kingston has been a heel once when New Day first started, but
Yeah,
It didn't
well,
work
that
out
was the
great.
It
It didn't work out great.
And it was kind of
I
like
know,
they were
it's
kind
a-
of like, this
it's
ain't
more-
this ain't
this
right.
is not working.
Yeah,
Oh, I
this
guess
is
we
right.
go. I guess we go babyface.
it's more of a heel with good intentions.
True.
So I mean, I think that holds merit, honestly. Like, it's but like there's so many people that I guarantee that are in that locker room like, dude, I would tag with CM Punk all day.
Right.
you know,
Yeah, absolutely.
And so like I think it'll be one of those out of the blue scenarios where like he gets attacked and then someone all of a sudden has his back, kind of like how Braun Strowman and Ricochet kind of started to gel, and it doesn't have to be a long-term thing, but like I think it would be that kind of scenario, honestly. And I don't think Cody Rhodes, given his, because I mean Cody Rhodes obviously has history with CM Punk, and obviously like he helped him on the beginning of SmackDown, and all that whole crap. And so I mean I just don't know now, what is Cody without when he loses the title, what story does he have? You know what I'm saying? Like,
What story did he have?
unless I'm saying is like it's
What,
just
you know
real-
what? Here's
Come
my
on.
rant. Here's my rant.
Bring it on. Go.
Cody didn't have a story unless it was his dad. Cody Rhodes' entire gimmick over the last few years since he left and came back is, how do I take my dead dad's legacy and profit off of it? He is an entitled, affluent performer, and he's subpar, and his brother Dustin will always be the better Rhodes.
I'm.
So
I kind of agree with him. I like.
you know what?
I like Dustin Rhodes.
He's the original American Nightmare, FYI.
He is definitely.
Holy
So
crap, he just opened a
here's the
powder
thing. Here's the thing with Cody. Thank you for taking this story that you wanted to potentially pay tribute to your dad. All right, your father left a long legacy for professional wrestling. and it's within your blood right to use that.
Mhm.
In my opinion, yeah, it's within your blood right to use it, and to always, in the work that you do, pay homage to your dad and the work that he did. For me, there came a point with this whole finish your story thing that I was just like, if you finish your story, that must mean you're retiring, right? Sting
Right.
finished his story just a few months ago, and it took 30 plus years for that to go down.
So
So
so basically there's nothing left for him once he loses the title.
there was nothing left when he won the title. Nothing.
Ooh,
What is Cody
man.
Rhodes without that story?
I mean, that is true.
Nothing.
He is a former
mean-
member of a so-called elite group of
And a
performers, which by the way, you can't be elite and look like that. I don't give a damn. All right. Second of all, Cody reinvented himself, and I would rather have that entitled brat story than him paying homage and saying he's going after this title to get something that his father didn't have the opportunity to get or to earn or whatever have you. His father was a champion. I don't know how many championships he held, or which ones, but I can tell you that in a critical eye, Cody reinvented himself using his father's work and legacy and memory. And it bothers me a bit because his brother never did. And his brother, who's older, you would think would have done it first and would have done that. And Dustin has always been on his own merits. And I think that has more so to do with sibling family structures, and there's probably some psychologist who's a wrestling fan who's probably broken this down. But for me, what I looked at and what I saw is just like, that's it. Your story was, what can I take from my dad? Because my dad still has a little bit of pull. Can I build my run around my dad?
So
Yeah, you
I'm-
look at Cody Rhodes' brother Dustin. He never really ever in his career. I never ever see him use his dad
So
as much like
why
Cody
did
does.
he never? Why did he? That's the thing, is why did Dustin never? He was never entitled. So I looked
So,
at. So I looked
here
at
is here
Rhodes
is like
Championship.
the psychology behind it. What I've thought about and figured it out is because the relationship that Dustin had with Dusty is not the same relationship that Cody had with his dad, Dusty. It was, Dustin got to grow up with his dad's dad in the home. Cody didn't. His dad was working, struggling, doing whatever have you. So there's a real family dynamic there that is missing. We can jump into, psychology and all this other stuff, but basically eldest kids like to prove that they can do it on their own with their parents. Middle and youngest kids kind of either follow their older sibling, or they look for the approval and acceptance of their parents and try to figure out life that way. So I think, without making this a super layered complex thing, I think that little factor of, I didn't get the same type of training and treatment that my brother got from my dad. So this is my way of getting that, getting his approval after, he's passed away, and staying in the good graces of the fans by honoring my dad. That keeps me over with people, because I'm honoring my family, as opposed to, like, being the spoiled brat, because we already have a spoiled brat in the WWE, Dominic Mysterio. So,
So I did
but
look
what?
up his championships that he held.
Yep. So what was his championships that Dusty?
So Dusty, he held the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. So he did hold the championships. I don't know why they just um and then he also was a United States Heavyweight Champion, a multi-time World Television World Tag Team Champion, won six-man tag team champion, and he's basically one of the 7 people that's in the WWE, WCW, Hall of Fame. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. He won championships. So what? Like, I did like, and I get it was the WWE one.
So I think there was an opportunity for Dusty in a match to win the WWE championship, and he wasn't able to do it. And I think that is where this story kind of like,
do you think that we have this particular perception and narrative of Dusty Rhodes, but like let's go back, 40 years, when he was wrestling and everything else, like maybe he wasn't that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe, in the time frame that, yeah, he held some other championships, but never, WWF championship. Like maybe he was just not that guy. I mean, we could his story could be the same thing as most wrestlers in WWE. That never get the rub, right? I mean, even just like Sheamus, like what if he never becomes Intercontinental Champion and he's never a Grand Slam champion? Is his son gonna be like, I gotta win an IC? You know what I'm saying?
It could be, and that could be a great generational thing. And maybe I'm missing the boat on Cody Rhodes being the WWE champion. Do I mind him being the WWE Undisputed Universal whatever champion it's called this week championship? No, I don't. You know what? It needs to be on a babyface for now, because it was on Roman Reigns, a heel, for a number of years, and that didn't sit right with me either. However, I understood the story to a degree of where they wanted to take the championship.
Yeah.
Some of the substance in the story I was not attracted to, and I didn't like from a personal place. And a lot of professional wrestling, especially on television, is to get you in a personal place so you are invested continuously in the product, right? So I understand that. And that's kind of my rant on Cody Rhodes and his championships. Has it been mundane and underwhelming? Yeah. Whose fault is it? It's kind of creative,
right?
because building up his run, looking down the barrel,
built it up so high,
yeah,
that now we're there. Now what do we do?
Right. It's kind of been anticlimactic, or it has been anticlimactic. It's just like, we're coming off this high, but now where do we go?
Yeah.
And he's trying to get his footing, and creative is trying to get their footing. I think the biggest swerve that we could get is a fake win for the Bloodline.
The Crud line?
Yeah, a fake win for the Bloodline, in the sense of it's really there's a lot of controversy on it. So
yeah,
we can have something to play with, so we can start building up other stories to have. We are going to have a really Bloodline Civil War when Roman gets back.
Definitely.
Yeah. So
I can see The Rock being in that too.
Oh yeah. So
I see this. This is my opinion. Well, I've been seeing a lot of people post pictures and all over social media, and I kind of agree with it. I could see The Rock teaming up with Solo and the other guys in the Bloodline, and you got Roman teaming up with Jimmy and Jay, and there was one other person I can't remember who.
It's either Zilla or Hadaluku or Hakuleu. Tama and Tama's brother.
Did you see
So
the hesitance on Tama Tonga and Tangaloa when Jacob Fatu showed up, right?
Oh,
And then
hit their other brother.
Solo's embracing him, and then you have them in the background, kind of like,
Yeah,
and
they know who their brother
dude,
is.
like, but do you see that as maybe a crack? Like maybe like, hey, like Jacob Fatu's here, like now he's gonna be that guy, and now
so
you guys fall in line, essentially.
so Jacob will probably be Solo's enforcer, and
Hell of an
Tama
enforcer.
and Tonga. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
That's a big boy bouncer right there.
So, like we said earlier, Jacob has really transformed his physique. So, some of the first few images that I saw of Jacob a few years ago, he seemed to be carrying a lot more weight. Now this leaner, more muscular, physical.
Oh, dude, he's a brute, dude. Like,
Yeah,
he's a beast.
Stacked.
Yeah,
He's just stacked. Like he's literally like the Samoan Braun Strowman. Like, except he can actually fly. But
Yeah,
like,
and plus, and the other thing I have seen is that what's his name? I don't know his name, but his dad is Umaga, and he did post on his Instagram say, "I'm coming, I'm next."
Yeah. So Zilla still has some work to do, in my opinion. I just something about Zilla just. I think he's still green. However, I think he can work. And maybe this is just a Triple H thing of like, let's just get this Samoan dynasty signed and in, and let's do this creative, and then we can let some of them go. Because eventually Roman's gonna, move
retire.
on. He's, he's gonna go part-time, So
do you think they're oversaturating though? Like if they start really just saturating the Samoan bloodline, like, do you think at some point, like you said, they might have to like let some go? Like, maybe some are just some of those little rockets on the side of a rocket that fall off eventually, but they get them to the next pedestal.
Right.
And
so I don't, in 2 years, I don't see God being in the WWE. I think I see all 3 members of Haku's kids not being in the WWE within 3 years. I see Zilla, Jacob, Solo still being there.
Yeah.
I see Jimmy and Jay on their way out. I see Roman part-time, if that. I don't see anything with The Rock.
I think he wants to be part-time.
I think he should. I think he should. He
deserves it.
I mean, not
that he's earned it or deserves it. I think from a compassionate side, with his leukemia and with family and wanting to be there for his kids, I think Hollywood is probably going to be a better fit for him.
I think he's the next step in The Rock's family going off to doing Hollywood, because I think this is his second movie he's done. The first movie he's done was with The Rock and what's it called?
He's done some TV. He's definitely done that movie with The Rock.
Yeah.
He's got a really great look. I think it can work out really great.
He'll still be a draw 100%.
He
like
will
it's no different than like John Cena being gone for a year, 2 years, and it comes back and he gets the same pop like he was there last week.
Yeah.
And
I think
you're gonna have those people that are on the payroll, because like WWE has a lot of like these top tier on the payroll that are making more than people that are actually wrestling every day. But so a side note, like I was actually I was looking at, as far as like you said with Cody being a face, right? So if you look across the whole broad spectrum of Raw and SmackDown, you look at who's heel, who's face, right? You got Damian heel, Cody face. You have the secondary titles. You have Logan heel. You have Sami Zayn face. You got the tag teams, Grayson Waller and Austin Theory heel. You got The Miz and and R-Truth face. And I didn't kind of draw that comparison as I was thinking about while you guys are talking. But
Mhm.
like, you know, it's really difficult when you have those each on both sides of it. Like, does that mean that this person, like, we might swap who's heel and who's face as far as like the like the like Raw or SmackDown? Like, okay, if Cody loses, is Cody gonna lose to a face? Hey, is Damian gonna lose, or is Damian gonna lose to a face? Is Cody gonna lose to a heel? Like,
But
are they
isn't
gonna
that
are
but
they gonna keep that balanced?
isn't that like the general gist of WWE booking? It is heel versus face, and
That's what I'm
then
saying is like is that
yeah,
it's you know it's so
I
tough because that's how they run it as far as the cookbook is like, it's heel versus face, but like, is it possible for a face to, be the face for a championship and call it a day? Like,
yeah,
you
I mean
know,
Cody is a face. I think they're positioning Damien to have a face turn. So yeah, who
we don't know what creative's thinking.
yeah, we
Like,
don't know. And that's part of the fun of the journey. It's like, looking
it,
back, it's like, oh, where did I miss that, like, that little tidbit or that Easter egg or whatever have you.
yeah,
When you're sitting up and you're talking with with your guys, and you're just thinking like, how does this work out? What does this look like? So for me, Cody doesn't drop that championship until he has the match with The Rock, and I think it'll all come to the head at SummerSlam, and I'm gonna call it right now. The Rock is behind the new bloodline. I'm gonna call it there, and it's gonna be Rock versus Roman. That's how we get rid of The Rock after WrestleMania 41. Is that what we're coming up on? 41 or
yeah.
42? Next year's WrestleMania. It's going to be Rock, Roman. Roman gets his championship back. Roman is going to be a face. All of this has been to build up Roman as a face. And maybe, just maybe, a lot of this pull to get cousins and second cousins into the WWE has been an effort between The Rock and Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman to get these guys signed, so we can have, like,
So,
if you have like 8 or 9
yeah.
performers
So,
of a
do you
family,
think that
it's gonna work out.
they're gonna eventually? I mean, I don't think they're gonna drop the name Bloodline. But do you see some of the bloodline breaking off and just being their own thing? Like,
Yes, because
I
because
do.
I think
yeah,
I honestly, Tama Tonga and Tongaloa, honestly, they could be a tag team by themselves and they'd be fine by themselves.
right.
I
I
think
don't. Yeah, I
the
don't know how
gimmick
WWE would use them as a tag team. They are incredibly decorated. What I want to see, which is a pipe dream, would be a new Bullet Club. I want a WWE version of Bullet Club. So I want God, Good Brothers, maybe a
I mean,
part-time AJ
with
Styles, full-time Finn Balor. Um,
I mean, they've been dropping the name,
A hell of a
for
lot.
the better for let's call it the last, like, maybe like 6 months. And so I think it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility for us to just get a straight up Bullet Club, and then they destroy every other faction. Finn leaves Judgment Day, you know, and you get all these moving parts to all of a sudden just be. And so I think that would be a faction I would get behind. I like you said, we're oversaturated. I feel like Final Testament, if they don't pull a tag team championship, that stuff's just gonna fizzle. I it's but I mean, and you have kind of this Street Profits, Bobby Lashley, the Pride, or whatever they want to call themselves. They don't even announce themselves as the Pride. They still announce them as the Street Profits. So I don't know how you have two names going at the same time.
do they ever
Um,
use do they ever use the Pride?
They
on
I
this.
never have.
So I think they might
It's-
just have a trademark for it. But maybe internally they've abandoned that because whatever creative reason. I honestly, give me a new Hurt business. Give me a new Hurt business. Bring back Sheldon Benjamin and give
Gold
me a
stu-
5.
I want them
Yeah.
to bring back the gold standard Shelton Benjamin. That's what I want.
Oh yeah, the
The
old.
gold
I don't think he
standard,
can-
dude.
I don't think
The
he can
gold-
grow hair anymore. By the way, Sheldon Benjamin had a show. He was on a card this weekend, and I think he was with Jonathan Gresham, who is with TNA, and they put on an independent match celebrating Juneteenth, and it was the main event of a card, and Sheldon Benjamin still can go.
Oh, dude,
Oh,
100%.
definitely can.
That's the thing is like the difference between performers and wrestlers is that when you have people that have wrestled collegiately for a long time, they build up a higher tolerance than someone that just wants to get into the business. When you've been doing the business, your body is way more tolerant than someone just joining. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like some
there's a
cheerleader.
lot of care that goes on with lifetime athletes who make that transition, and lifetime athletes who are second generation, third generation, and who are, adolescence athletes who, collegiate athletes that, say like this would be fun. A Sheldon Benjamin will definitely knows how to take care of himself and his body in the ring and people that he's working with. And, it takes a long time for you to build up, in my opinion, that
I mean, Brock Lesnar could literally go for another 10 years.
could.
Yeah.
And obviously there's all the whole scandal stuff, and they've kind of dropped his name in and out of the roster. But I don't know. Like, I want this new generation to take the reins. I obviously if Seth Rollins can go for easily another 10 years, no problem. Pardon, per no injuries. I mean, I don't think we're ever going to get Big E back. I think I think he's called it a day. He's just working with WWE in the back. He's one of the people on, the commentators, in pre-show stuff like that.
Here's like the craziest thing. If Big E marries Mia Yim's sister, he can call Keith Lee a brother.
Huh.
Yeah.
Huh.
Two big meaty men slapping me.
So much meat, dude.
So
Okay,
much
so on.
meat.
Speaking of meat, so like, have you ever legitimately like when commentators say something and you're just like, bro, did you just hear what you said? Like, like every time there's two big wrestlers and they're like, man, these two guys are ready to slap meat. Like,
I'm like, what?
They say it and you're like, what did you just say?
I am waiting for like Michael Cole to like pull out his I've been watching TikTok card and just like say like pause or no Diddy or something. Just something like just so current and
Like,
trendy and
I
hip to
mean,
like, hey
oh
bro.
my gosh. Now, Pat McAfee is a G, okay? Like, he created the moniker that's one big SOB, the shirts that Braun Strowman wears now. Like, that was 100% Pat McAfee's input. And now, and it's like, have you ever noticed he kind of cuts off the T, like the CH, and he's like, that's one big S, that's one big son of a B. And then they cut the CH off when he says, and then sometimes he gets away with it and sometimes he doesn't. Oh,
Well, that's Pat
honestly,
McAfee.
I love the commentators, dude. I mean, Corey Graves is basically he's already gotten the torch from Michael Cole. Wade Barrett. I mean, he's he had his time, but like, definitely wears his emotions on his sleeve.
We have to see how Pat is doing because he did get tacked by the Wyatt Six on his own show.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I don't know.
He'll
I
have
mean,
to say something on Monday Night Raw. What happened?
oh, dude, I
yeah.
guess. So, okay, so speaking of Wyatt, okay, so was it weird that they only had them on Raw? Like, does it water down the like the gimmick that they're only on one show?
No, no. I think from a production standpoint and the logistics of production, having them on two shows would be expensive. However, it could have worked if they would have been on the show on SmackDown,
But
but
like,
because they had Jacob Fatu um, debut, I don't think.
gets attacked by Huskus the pig.
Yeah, I don't think it would
Well,
have
I mean, like
worked.
it didn't have to have the production value of the initial, final, getting the Wyatt Six. Like I think there's still something in the works, very subtly. I don't think it's anything that's going to happen. I think they're going to kind of see how they react to once the Wyatt Six comes out and actually speaks and actually like talks about like what they're going to do. And I feel like once they get a voice of what they want to do, and I feel like it might maybe some people will talk a little smack and they might get retaliation. But I mean, until we
I,
essentially hear the Wyatt Six actually talk and sit and actually like
I
you know
in that entire group, with the exception of Dexter Loomis, none of them should be talking. None of it. I think it should
Dexter
be.
Loomis doesn't talk.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing about Dexter Loomis, because I don't know like where his previous work. I don't know nothing about the guy. I don't know how well he talks and can convey stories.
Well, he doesn't talk like NXT. He basically the only time
Well,
he said anything was when he married what's her nut, and he said I do, and like
you
he
know,
has
It
that
was
he
funny. It's funny. The woman that he's married, she went straight to Twitter and posted that I wanted to divorce.
has,
She wants a divorce from him from joining that group.
oh gosh,
so here,
well,
but
there's so
here's
many
the thing.
segues. I love
Yeah,
I
like
love
here's the
Twitter. I
thing.
love it all.
Like if I were to be engaged in the Wyatt Six, I don't want any of them to talk. I want all of their messaging to come,
Their action.
yeah, by action and by the promos that we had, like the cryptic messages and
vignettes,
stuff
yeah.
like that. Yeah, that's how I want them to talk. I don't want them to say anything. I want them to be, because Bray Wyatt
Basically the
is gone.
Fiend.
Yeah, because Bray Wyatt is gone, their voice is gone, and the only way that they communicate is visually. I think that would be more engaging.
I could see that.
That's fair.
Yeah, so that would probably be my only like, oh, here's a nice little thing for Wyatt Six. Yeah.
And yeah, it's gonna be a lot of almost like Bray Wyatt receipts, because I feel like when they start tallying up essentially who was actually attacked on Monday, like is that their shit list? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, obviously Chad Gable was the most visual.
I think
Who was that other guy that had the blood on the wall behind him? Who the hell was that dude?
Oh man, I'd have to watch it again.
Because he had his head down, and
it was. I think Carmelo Hayes was on a pile. Obviously Chad Gable was the most visual. I'd have to watch it again. But yeah, no, I don't know. Like we don't know their shit list yet, so it's like it's kind of hard to like, we obviously seen like the small like back, stuff with Ramblin' Rabbit being behind Chad Gable in his promo and back in the locker room. I think there's going to be a lot more Easter eggs coming, like within the show, kind of like when they, when Bray was doing the Firefly Funhouse, you'd see like Ramblin' Rabbit somewhere, or you know, a couple other characters, in the background, just kind of lingering.
I'll say, yeah, we'll find out more tomorrow on Raw.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Hopefully, maybe
To
they'll
me,
start
from
the
what
show.
yeah.
Yeah, from what I'm hearing and seeing and gauging from the internet and from YouTube, that there's a lot of layers on top of this. A lot of, and there's
Oh, it's
plenty
from
to
the mind of Bray
dissect.
Wyatt.
Yeah, maybe this is how they should promote it, like from the mind of, Bray Wyatt, comes
Right.
this.
Doesn't say Uncle Howie, aka Bo Dallas, is carrying his brother's book around with his mindset in it.
And I
He's
think
reading
I
from
mean,
it.
And I love that. Honestly, like, and like it's such a great, like, we're basically getting what's in the mind of Bray Wyatt. Like I think the production value is amazing. I really think that all the little details that, again, the average person wouldn't pick up on, and I just think, because even, because it's like it's Bray Wyatt too, but it's also like Luke Harper, which I think is kind of cool. Those little trinkets added in, and I think, if when you start picking apart all the tributes they really have within even that like 5-6 minute back segment on Raw, like it's amazing. Like
Oh, I love the gorilla position area, the way that was all messed up. I
Dude,
love how they did
man.
that.
And like, how the hell did you do that in the time frame of them? Like that, you had to have been doing that in like maybe 15-20 minutes.
No,
I
they
mean-
did that throughout the show. Remember, it's a 3-hour show.
True. They don't show a lot of back scenes in that area.
But
Right.
I think, yeah, I mean, but like, that's some quality production. You
Oh,
know
yeah.
what?
Right.
Like,
Whoever did that, perfect.
well, I mean,
know,
and
they-
like,
they
the
had-
guy,
yeah.
the guy that made Bray Wyatt's Fiend mask has basically made every other one, and I think that's amazing.
Definitely
That
the
guy
one
is
on here.
talented. Yeah, I mean, dude, honestly, the amount of talent that went into that literally 6-minute segment, maybe 10 minutes tops, like that is some grade A, like quality, like precise.
It felt like I was
Very-
watching a movie.
Yeah, freaking Rob Zombie, but like, but yeah, no, we're definitely gonna see, tomorrow what's the plan, or at least are they gonna are they gonna end the show, or are they gonna start the show? Like, who knows? Are they gonna? Because I feel like it's only gonna work if they start the show or end the show. They can't be in the middle. So
They need to
think-
start. I think they need to start the show because like last week they ended it with a show. They should start it this week.
There were a lot of times when during the Thunderdome era that they would just start the show chaotically, like all kinds of crap happening. I would not be surprised if we get that.
I hope we do.
yeah, dude. Oh man.
I'll be watching it.
So many layers to unravel. We'll obviously put a proverbial pin in this because, man, because obviously we could talk forever, honestly, but I mean, as far as production value for us, no one wants to listen to me talk for a half an hour, 45 minutes to an hour and a half.
I don't think anybody wants to look at my ugly ass that long.
I mean,
I'm an amazing human being. Just put me on loop,
You
and we're all
stud.
good.
You stud. With that great
Just listen to
fader.
my voice. I'll just put your ass to sleep.
little ASMR. It's our separate page. It's just ASMR.
Yes.
Mhm.
Like, yes,
Frederick-
does
Frederick
it sound so good?
Frederick just going like this in his beard. It's just-
Oh goodness. Can you hear anything? I don't know if you can. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll
I'll just flop my beard right on there.
You know what? That's a good
that's
look.
Naughty. This is supposed to be a
Alright.
family show. Not really. It says not. But,
No.
hey, you know what? Honestly, I liked your guys' rants. Okay, I for once I held my Logan Paul rant back, and you guys went after your Drew and CM Punk. I want to hear more of that. I want you guys to like go total just no. That's bullshit. No.
Yeah, that's a fucking bullshit. God damn it.
Oh,
Fuck
now
you,
we got to
Tony.
cut this.
No, we don't need to cut that. It'd be good.
Oh,
It's a good ending of the show.
Oh man, the Lockdown Podcast ranting edition. You know,
Stay
that's
tuned
gonna
for the credit scene.
That's gonna be season 2.
yeah.
Oh, I mean, honestly, we're 22 episodes in, Tim. Honestly, I don't think we would be continue to do weekly without you, Frederick. Because honestly, you think outside the box, and I absolutely love it. Because there's plenty of moments you're talking, I'm just like, right? So I love
Same
the
here.
team. I love the crew. I think we all have different opinions, different thought processes, and I think that's what makes this podcast even more fun. So I tip
Definitely.
my hat to you, sir. But yeah, we'll I tip my earbud to you. It's the new thing when we sign out. We go, but so yeah, so we'll definitely see what tomorrow brings, and obviously more bloodline drama on Friday, or I like to call the crud line. So this is the Lockdown Podcast. Peace.